Hello, good morning. I'm going to start soon, but a quick reminder, if you are still able to, you can download this from the English Live Resources group, and it will be really useful to have a copy in front of you during the lesson, even if you've only got it open on another device next to you. Okay, so it's a cross-section of the Globe Theatre. But if you haven't got it, it's not a problem. I'm going to pop one up on the board and you'll just have to look really closely at the screen. Okay? Play.
Listen to me, hear me. You can't stop chasing your dream just because somebody in your life will chase it with you. You can't stop believing in yourself just because somebody in your life won't believe in you. You can't stop chasing the dreams of your life just because when you know when you do it, you're going to have to do it all by yourself. Sometimes you just got
pause. Okay, hello everyone. I'm so sorry for the late start today. It's been a bit of a manic morning. A lot of rushing around and one of those mornings where everything I touch seems to fall apart and break. So fingers crossed that nothing goes too wrong during the lesson today. Right, so welcome to today's edition of English Live. And today we are looking at Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, and we're also going to have a small fundraiser as well. So you're going to find out all about the Globe Theatre, its history, the different parts of it, and hopefully by the end of the lesson you'll be able to identify the key aspects of the Globe Theatre on your own copy. Now, I did say just at the very beginning of the live, if you were able to get one of these, it was saved in the files of the English Live Resources Facebook group. If you've got a copy of that in front of you, just means you're going to be able to put labels on it and, you know, make notes around it. But if you don't have a copy in front of you or one on a device for you to be able to look closely at, it's not a problem because I will pop one up on the board so you still will be able to see it. So if you're new to English Live or if you've forgotten where you can access things, you can download a task sheet that looks like this. And you can download that from the English Live Resources Facebook group, and it has 6 different activities for you to do after the lesson. What isn't on there today, because it is a task that I've given before, is to download the Globe 360 app. So I didn't want to duplicate the task in case you've done it before. But if you haven't done that before, I definitely recommend that you do so. It's wonderful. You can take a tour and you can find loads of really interesting facts out. So definitely have a look at that. And of course, as always, check with your parents before you download any apps onto any devices. Right, before we do our starter activity, I can see there's lots of requests for shout-outs coming through. So let's see what Mummy English has sent through for me today. Hello to Flynn, who is 7 in Cookham, and Dean, who loves the lesson. So shout out to Flynn and Dean. Hello to Sunny. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Sunny. Hello to Robbie. Where are we? It's live. Hello to Albie and Eve in London. Big shout out to you. Hello to Isabel, who is 9 in Manchester. Varun in Reading loves my lessons. Thank you very much. Hello to Elizabeth Healy, who is 8 in Sheffield and loves Bertie. So do I. And loves the lessons. Yaya says his dad is an ICU doctor for the NHS. And he's working with Yaya today. So really lovely for the pair of you to be here doing this, and well done to your dad. Thank you for everything you do. Hello to Fred in Beckenham. Hello to Willow and her German Shepherd dog, and to her German Shepherd dog Freya, who sits with her. Hope Freya's absorbing all of this and becoming an English specialist. Hello to Harry, who is 6, and George, who is 6 from Manchester. Tilly, good morning. Hello. Hello to Chitsa in India. Hello to Alex, who is 10 in Cambridge, who does the lessons every day with his dad. Big shout out to your dad. Hello to Jake at Welton Primary School, and to everybody at Welton Primary School. And Jensen, who is 9. Anish, who is 10 in Hertfordshire, who's never missed a lesson. Good work. Hello to Clements. Hello to Izzy and her dog Milo. Imi and Zara in St Albans. Hello to Ollie and Joe at Pixbrook. Hello, lads. And hello to Olivia from Prenton. Dira, who's been with me from the start. Thanks, Dira. Hope you've enjoyed them all. And Jessica, who's looking forward to the lesson. And Arohi, who is 8 in Harrow. Whew, that's a lot of shout outs. So we'll get on with our starter activity now. So a little bit different to our usual starter activities. I've got 2 little questions for you to try and get that brain muscle moving around today. And they are, why do you think the Globe Theatre is called the Globe? And if you were to design your own theatre, what would you call it and why? The why bit is quite important because there is a reason the Globe is called the Globe. So I'm going to leave you with these 2 questions for about a minute. I'm going to quickly go and make a coffee because I really, really need one. And we will get started on the Globe Theatre very soon. Good luck. Play.
Everybody wants to run, but I can't stop running because you're not running. Listen to me, hear me. You can't stop chasing your dream just because somebody in your life is chasing it. You can't stop believing in yourself just because somebody in your life is believing. You can't stop chasing the dreams of your life just because when you know you can do it, you're going to have to do it all by yourself.
Hello, Connor in Scotland. Don't worry about being late, Addison. I was late today too. Some nice ideas. Nice idea, Lachlan. Hello, Kate Hayward. Pause. Okay, well done. A really nice idea from Lachlan, who said that he thought it was called the globe because it's a round shape, and I suppose that would make perfect sense. But actually, the reason the globe is called the globe is because all of the wood that was used to build the original structure was taken from one theatre that goes down on the other side of the River Thames, and it was carried by the builders and the actors on their shoulders across the Thames, and that was said to look like Hercules, who many of you will know famously carries the globe on his back, and that is how the Globe Theatre got its name, which I think is quite interesting. So what would you call your theatres? Well, I don't know what I'd call mine. Probably Theatre of Holly. It's not very exciting, is it? Oh, talking of theatre though, lots of you I know have been watching Theatre of Science and have been doing Maths Live with Steph, and hopefully you've seen a photo of us all together on Zoom. We are looking at doing some really exciting projects that bring together English, maths and science, and hopefully we can keep you all learning at home. So if you've got your cross-section of the globe, have it out in front of you now. If not a problem. I'm going to bring this a little bit closer for you so you can work from the screen. Bertie, what have you got in your mouth? Silly dog. Okay, here we go. It's one of those days, isn't it? Okay. So it will be hard to see from where you are, but we'll make do together. I'll do my best to help you. So I'm going to give you a little bit about the history of the Globe Theatre, and then I'm going to describe the different elements of it, and I want you to try and label them yourself on your own copy, or have a little look on this image here and see if you can work out where the different things go. You quite all right, Bertie? Okay, so the Globe Theatre was originally built in, well, it opened in 1599. Hundreds of years ago, and it was actually in 1598 that they decided to call it the Globe, when everyone was carrying that wood across the Thames and building the theatre together. So it opened in 1599, and it was hugely successful, and Shakespeare himself even had a business share in the Globe. He didn't own it, but he had a share in it. And then in 1613 there was a fire. It was actually during a performance of Henry VIII. I think it was Henry VIII. It was Henry the something. And where they used a cannon, it set fire to the thatched roof. So you can kind of see in the image here, but lots of you will have already seen a picture of the Globe Theatre. You'll know what it looks like. Here's an image here. And this thatched roof here caught alight, and the whole thing burned down. But don't worry, nobody died. Apparently there are stories of one reveller whose clothing caught on fire, but someone poured a pint of beer over them and that put the fire out. So nobody was harmed in the fire, but the Globe itself did burn down. So it was rebuilt in 1614, so a year later, but this time they tiled the roof around the sides and didn't thatch it because they thought it would be a little bit safer, and that's probably quite sensible considering a lot of the special effects that we used during those times would have been fire-based, so cannons and fireworks and such like, and candles, for example. So where are we? Yes. So 2 years later, after it reopened, Shakespeare died. So he died in 1616. But the Globe lived on, and lots of different plays were performed there, not just his plays, but as he gained more popularity for his wonderful plays, their intricate plots and really beautiful language, it did become the home of Shakespeare's plays. So there was a civil war in 1642, so quite a good few years later, after all these years of success, and the civil war between the Puritans and the Royalists came to crunch point, and theatres were demolished, and on the location of the Globe Theatre itself, houses were built. So that was the end of that, you would think. But hundreds of years later, the Globe Theatre itself was rebuilt. It's about 400 metres away from the original site. And it was rebuilt to use exactly the same wood and the same style. A lot of effort went into replicating the original design of the Globe Theatre, and it is just around the corner from the original site. And but this time they made it a little bit even more safer, knowing now what we do about health and safety, and they have lined the thatched roof, so it's a lot safer. But it is open-aired as it was originally. Now, if you are ever able to go and visit the Globe Theatre, you can take a short walk. You'll have to Google it. No point me explaining now. But you can take a short walk and you can actually see where the original Globe Theatre was. And actually, it's just some really swanky flats. And there's just a little plate on the floor that says the Globe Theatre was originally here. But it is interesting to see nevertheless. So I'm going to now talk you through some different elements of this theatre, and I want you to try and mark them out yourself. And I did have a red pen somewhere. Aha! So I can mark them on here afterwards. So let's see how gelled up your brains are today. So, flag. Should be quite easy, this one. The flag signified which type of play was being performed: black for tragedy, white for comedy, and red for history. The flag was flown high enough so that most of London could see it waving on top of the globe, and that's how they communicated in the original times what sort of play was being shown. So if you knew that you didn't like history plays or you really liked comedy plays, you would look out for that flag. So mark it on your own. Can you see it on here? It's quite obvious, this one. Yeah. That's the flag there. Now, I have got a really quick little task for you, just to break things up a little bit today, because it's a lot of me talking to you. And as we know, I do like a waffle. So far during my lessons, we've had a brief look at Romeo and Juliet, The Tempest, and A Midsummer Night's Dream. Do you think you can work out what colour flag would be flown for each of those three? So I'll just read you out the colours again, and then I'm going to give you about 30 seconds with the music to see if you can decide for yourself. So black for tragedy, white for comedy, and red for history. Have a little think. Play. Okay, so it's black for tragedy, white for comedy, and red for history. Louis and Campsie.
You can't wait to be what you call. You can't wait on their affirmation. You can't wait on their approval.
Pause. Okay. So Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy, so that would have a black flag. The Tempest, this one's up for debate. I would say it's a comedy. There are some really comedic elements to it. So you would probably have a white flag for The Tempest, and A Midsummer Night's Dream, well, that certainly is a comedy. It's hilarious. So that would also have a white flag. So none of these are historical plays. And these would be a black, white, and white flag. So well done if you got that correct. If you didn't, or you missed the previous lessons, not a problem. You've got the rest of your lives to learn all about Shakespeare. Okay, so let's move on. Can you locate the heavens? It's a ceiling over the stage that protected the actors from too much sun or rain because it is an open air theatre. It also represented the sky and the heavens and was painted blue with gold stars. Now, if you look at colour pictures of the inside of the Globe Theatre, you can see it in all its glory. Can you work out where it is? Remember, you should be labelling these if you've got your own copy at home. So it's this area in here, the ceiling bit of it, because there's other things in there too. Okay, sorry if it's a little bit blurry and difficult for you to see. Let me see if I can get it a little bit closer. That might help. Okay, so galleries. The galleries were 3 covered seating sections. An audience paid a bit more to sit on these tiered wooden benches under a thatched roof to keep out of the sun and the rain. And for an additional penny, you could borrow a cushion to sit on. So you should be able to spot this relatively clearly. So the seats in the galleries, you would often pay 2 pennies for those particular seats, and an additional penny if you wanted a nice soft cushion to sit on. Okay, you can see them here. So there, there, and there. Okay, I'm going to put a G, but on your copy you can annotate that in more detail. And you might like to also make a note that it was 2 pennies and an extra penny for your cushions. And in that time, in the original times, a loaf of bread was a penny. So to put it in context, it was the cost of a loaf of bread. So it would be like £1.20 to go to the theatre today in comparison. So things are a bit different now, aren't they? So the upper stage. The upper stage would be used for balcony scenes or scenes in bedrooms. Really famous play with a balcony scene. We all know this one, Romeo and Juliet. Can you spot the balcony? Have a close look. Yeah, it would be this area here. Well done if you got that correct. So the next one, the main stage, nice and easy, this one. This is where the main action of the play takes place, especially outdoor scenes. So quite a lot of Midsummer Night's Dream, for example, is outside, isn't it, in the forest. So the stage would have been set up to look like a forest. So particularly battlefields, forests. The stage was built 4 to 5 feet high to stop the audience from jumping in on the action. So when we go to the theatre these days, we all like to behave ourselves, and sometimes we like to put on quite nice clothes because it's a really nice event to go and participate in. But at these times, it was a lot more rambunctious, a lot more sociable. And people would jump in on the action. They would shout out at the actors. So the stage is 4 to 5 feet higher. Now, the first time I went to the Globe Theatre as a teen, and I stood not far from the stage because it's standing at the front, and we'll talk about that in a moment. And you do end up spending the whole time like this, looking up to the stage. So it's quite easy to get a sore neck. But yes, the main stage is this area here, and you can see that it's 4 to 5 feet higher than the ground. And to give you some perspective, there are some little people just here. So you can imagine how high the stage would be if you were there, or if you've already been there, you may have been yourself. Okay, the inner stage. This stage was mostly used for indoor scenes. It had a curtain that could be opened or closed for scene changes. So the inner stage, where do you think is the inner stage? Now, you can see here there's 2 doorways. This little bit here is underneath the balcony. That would be the inner stage there. So if you are annotating, you could just make a note there that that's the inner stage. Okay, now I'm just going to have a break from me talking at you, and I'm going to give you a very quick task to see how well you were listening. All my sheets are jumbled up today. Here we go. So we've got a brain buster. How much would it cost for your family to watch a play from the galleries with cushions included just for the children? Okay, so can you remember how much a ticket to sit in the galleries would cost, how much extra it would be for cushions, and how much would it cost for your whole family to sit in the galleries with only cushions for the children? I'm going to give you a minute or so to do this. As always, shout out at the screen, pop it in the live chat, make a note, or just have a little boogie. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. Play. Good luck.
Sometimes you just gotta run and look behind you and say, everybody wants to run, but I can't stop running because you're not running with me. Listen to me, hear me.
Franco, it cost you 7 pence.
Because somebody in your life is chasing you. You can't stop believing in yourself just because somebody in your life won't believe in you.
Pam's family would cost 10 pennies.
Just because we do
Lots of 10 pennies. Oh, £10. Someone's got a huge family. How well were you listening? Pause. Okay, well done. So for my family, it would cost us 10 pence, but I would definitely have to take Mummy English with me too. So, so it would cost 12 pence for my family. Well done to those of you that remembered. It's 2 pence a ticket for the gallery and an extra penny to have a cushion. Right, we're going to move on. So, pen at the ready, so you can annotate your copy or just have your eyes ready if you're looking at the teeny tiny one on the screen. So now we're going to look for what we call the pit or the open yard. Audience members paid 1 penny to stand in the pit or the open yard to watch the performance, rain or shine. Even to this day, if it is absolutely pouring down with rain, the show still goes on. I've seen plays before where at the Globe where it has been pouring down with rain and everybody is standing there drenched, but absolutely loving being there in the moment, in the atmosphere. So often these audience members in this area were known as the groundlings, or even the stinkards, they're sometimes called, and they would participate in the performance by shouting and cheering and throwing snacks onto the stage. So it was there was a lot of action that would take place down in that area. So can you label the pit, or otherwise known as the open yard? Yep. It's this area down here. Okay, they're the best seats in the house, I would say. Definitely if you're going for some atmosphere. Now, actually, I do have a photo. Now, my printer is rapidly running out of ink this week, so it's a slightly dodgy picture, but this is a modern production at the Globe Theatre, and you can see there all of the groundlings, or otherwise known as the stinkards, all standing around the stage watching it. And you can also see as well, just up here, some people that are sitting in the galleries that still to this day would pay more for their ticket. Okay. Next, we are looking to annotate the support pillars. These were wooden, but painted to look like marble. So everything was made from wood, but clever design could make it look much more luxurious. Actors would hide behind these and they would spy on other characters while saying asides to the audience. So great opportunities for actors to talk out to the audience and show the audience that they were doing it secretively without the other characters in the play knowing that they are there. So that would have been perfect for Ariel in Tempest, where he is hiding or is pretending to be invisible. Lots of opportunities there to use those pillars. So where are they? If you've got colour pencils in front of you, you could shade them in. Okay, there's one there and one there. Okay, so pillars. It's looking like a big jumble of red pen now, isn't it? Okay, so well done if you got that. So finally, the trap door. Well, we can all just guess where the trap door is. So the trap door was for actors who were playing ghosts or witches, and they could descend through this door, which was built into the main stage to make it look like they were appearing or disappearing out of nowhere. Okay, so still some really clever special effects, even hundreds of years ago. Okay, this was big business. Entertainment was really, really big business. And you can't really see one on here, but you can imagine that it would be about there. So you can label it properly on your own version. Okay, really good. Now, I'm just going to give you some information about the Globe, and you might like to label yours, or you might like to just sit and listen. And if you are watching on catch up, you could even pause every now and then and add extra notes to your picture. So lighting. So natural lighting was used, and often plays were held in the afternoon so they could make the use of the natural lighting. They didn't have electricity, and even to this day, natural lighting is used. Sometimes you'd have a little bit of artificial light from candles and such light, but that was to create moods rather than light the stage. No heating in the Globe, so performances were during the summer months, and then during the winter they were transferred to indoor playhouses. No toilets, people just relieved themselves outside, and all the sewage was just tipped into the River Thames. You definitely don't want to go swimming in there. The grounds of the theatre around it were filled with stalls that would sell takeaway food and snacks and beverages, and so it really was like a festival experience. It was also used for gambling, and there were always fights breaking out, so quite a lively place to be on the weekend. Well, any time it was open, I would think. So the capacity was over 1,500 in the Globe Theatre itself, but with all of the surrounding areas, you'd have about 3,000 people there, so it would be like being a major event. Right, we are swiftly running out of time. I've definitely waffled a lot today. So I really quickly want to just talk to you about the Globe Theatre today. So where is my picture of the Globe? Okay, I'll have to find it in a minute. So the Globe Theatre today, well, it relies heavily on ticket sales and educational tours and such like to keep its doors open, to pay for all of its staff, and to keep the legacy of Shakespeare alive. And because it is such a successful theatre, it doesn't normally use any funding from the Arts Council. So as it's been closed for so long because of the pandemic, they are really now struggling to keep their doors open, and they are very worried that they may be facing permanent closure unless they can find, they think, in the region of £5 million. Now, they have applied for emergency funding to try and keep the doors open for the future so that you can all have the opportunity to go there and to learn about Shakespeare and watch plays. But that's not in stone, and it's a big worry. So they are asking people to make small contributions to keeping the Globe Theatre open. So I would like to invite you to donate 50p towards the Globe Theatre Fund. If you would like to, you can send it by PayPal in the same way that you would buy me a coffee. So it's hollyking@mac.com. The information will be on the English with Holly Facebook page after the lesson. You can send 50p, but you must put in the description Globe and then your full name, and I will bring all of that money together, and on Friday I will send a letter to the Globe Theatre with the names of everybody who has donated, and give them their best wishes from everybody at English Live. And if you don't want to donate in that way, the yellow, I think it's the yellow task today, it might be the orange task, you can create a Save the Globe Theatre poster. If you'd like to support them that way, if you post that picture on the English Live Resources Facebook group, then I will collate all of those and I will send those posters along with the letter. Please make your donations between now and noon on Friday, because it's at that point that I will calculate how much we've raised together and send it over to the Globe. Okay, so that brings me to the end of my lesson. I hope that you've enjoyed finding out a little bit about the Globe. There is so much more to know about it. I had reams of interesting facts, and it's just impossible to squeeze it into 35 minutes. So please do go and find out more about it and do your own research, because it's just it's a fabulous place. So please join me tomorrow for Writing Between the Lines, and of course on Friday we have the Spellathon, and then next week is our last week. So have a lovely afternoon, enjoy the task work, and thank you for joining me today. Take care, bye-bye.